It's VO Atlanta weekend. And as I was trying to come up with this podcast, what I was picturing was 1,000 voice actors on airplanes and in their cars traveling to Atlanta, all collectively sitting and listening at the same time to get some valuable insight and information as they head to VO Atlanta. So that's the goal. That is the objective. I wanted to give you some actionable, practical advice for how to get the most out of your conference experience this weekend. And that's why I even released the episode a day early. Normally, episodes come out on Thursday. I decided to release on Wednesday so that you would have the opportunity to listen to this while you were on the plane. Now, last week during Free Advice Friday, I started off the broadcast by giving away some tips for how to get the most out of VO Atlanta. I'm not going to rehash those tips in this episode. I will link that live stream in the show notes if you want to go back and be able to listen to it and get those tips as well. I also sent those tips out to my email list this week, so you may have already received that. So, what I want to give you today is a bunch of new tips, additional tips, bonus tips, whatever you want to call it, for getting the most out of your VO Atlanta experience this weekend. So, let's get started with the first one, which is networking with purpose. The event is sold out, which means there's going to be what? I don't know, 1,000 people at the conference, like literally 1,000 of your closest friends and colleagues wandering around the Hilton. It's going to be crazy and you're going to want to meet everyone, but it's not actually going to be possible for you to meet everyone. So, what you need to do is you need to try to network with purpose. Instead of trying to get to everybody, identify a handful of key connections that you want to make while you are there. So maybe there are a handful of coaches that you really want to have the opportunity to introduce yourself to, or a couple of agents or casting directors that you would really like to have the opportunity to connect with, or a demo producer that you want to meet in person because maybe you're thinking about working with them. Maybe there's a few key voice actors that you want to meet, people that you've followed online or you've connected with online. Maybe you've taken in their content and learned something from it, whatever. But the point is, identify a few key connections and make it a point to meet those people over the course of the weekend. So, what we're aiming for here is, I guess, quality over quantity, so to speak. And that's not to take away from anybody who's at the event, just that if it's not going to be possible for you to meet all 1,000 people, make sure that you're making a point of connecting with the most important people to you and where you are at in your business today. So, if you can walk away having established a few key relationships, I think it's going to have made the weekend worthwhile for you. So, that's tip number one. Tip number two is to get off the wall. When you're in a session with a lot of other voice actors, and particularly if you're a newer voice actor, or maybe it's your first time being at a conference like this, it can feel very intimidating. And that can make you want to hang back and hold up the wall rather than actually stepping forward and getting directly involved in the session and what's happening. So, my advice to you is don't be shy and don't let what other people think or what you think other people may think stop you from getting involved, stop you from participating. Get in your head to keep you from having that truly immersive experience. Get on the mic and do the read. Take full advantage of the opportunity. Raise your hand and ask the question. Don't let fear or nerves or imposter syndrome keep you from participating. Ask anyway. Odds are, if the question is in your head, it's in the heads of at least a few other people in the room as well. And they're going to be grateful that you actually stepped up and asked it. So take advantage of being in the room with the experts and get the information and advice that you are seeking. Don't be afraid to get involved. Don't let fear or nerves hold you back. We're all here to support each other. We're all here to learn. And you know what? Even if there are people who aren't, who cares? Don't give them that kind of power that it would keep you at the back of the room and keep you from getting fully immersed in the experience of VO Atlanta. This one is so key. Tip number three is take care of your voice. You're going to be doing a lot of talking this weekend, a lot of talking. And you got to protect the moneymaker because the last thing that you want to do is be coming home from the conference, riding that high of that incredible experience, getting back into the studio on Monday, and then not actually being able to talk. That would be very unfortunate. Not being able to take all those things that you learned and apply them to the auditions that are going to be waiting for you on Monday. That would be very unfortunate. So you got to hydrate. Warm up before you do any hands-on sessions if you're doing an X session or something like that. Avoid too much late night talking. You've got to give your voice time to rest so that you can actually participate in the coaching and the performance exercises. I did an interview with Shauna Pennington Baird, who taught some incredible tips on vocal health, and I will tell you that I used a lot of those tips that I learned from her last year when I was at VO Atlanta, and I've used them at conferences in the past, and they just work. I'm not going to rehash all of those here, but what I will do is I will put that interview in the show notes. It's absolutely worth going back and revisiting. Another one that you can listen to on the plane. Actually, that one's better to watch the YouTube version of and actually see Shauna demonstrating some of the tips that she talks about. But taking care of your voice, taking care of your moneymaker is going to be so important this weekend. Next tip is follow the clues. When you're sitting in on a dozen different sessions during a day and listening to the advice and the hot takes from a dozen different presenters, sometimes it can be hard to discern what is truly the best information. Sometimes you're going to hear conflicting information because maybe what works for one person doesn't work for another person, or maybe one person does it this way and another person does it that way. And when you get all of this information, it can be hard to try to put it together and figure out what should I actually do. So one of the things that I would encourage you to do as you're taking notes is if you have multiple coaches and speakers repeating similar advice, pay extra attention to that stuff. It's probably an industry standard, or it's a current or developing trend, or a universal principle that actually works. And so make note of all of those common themes that are coming up throughout the weekend, paying attention to those common themes and trends and thinking about how you can apply those directly to your career. Here's another tip for you: create content. I coach a lot of voice actors in marketing. And one of the most common things that I hear from voice actors for why they don't use social media is that they don't know what to post. Well, you are about to find yourself in a situation where you are going to have so many different opportunities to create interesting content and share it across social media. An entire weekend of content, literally, that is waiting to be created. So, talk about your experience, talk about what you're learning, share the key takeaways and the aha moments that you have from the weekend, the things that you are learning, the best and most memorable things that happen to you, the laughs and the smiles as much as the education. It's valuable for you because you're going to reinforce all of your learning. Every time you think through that thing again, or you write it into a social media post, or create an Instagram reel, or make a TikTok video about it, it's reinforcing the learning. So there's value for you. It's valuable to potential buyers because it demonstrates a seriousness and a passion about your career, and the fact that you're willing to learn and that you're always trying to be the best voice actor that you can be. And then when you are tagging the speakers, the people who are sharing the things that you're learning, and sharing those content worthy nuggets, it's going to help you to grow your network, and it's going to help you to expand your reach. So make sure that as you are sharing that content, creating that content, you're tagging the people that were helping you to come up with it in the first place, because that is going to expand the reach of the post. So use this weekend as an opportunity to create some content. And that doesn't mean that you need to post it all this weekend, but make sure that you're making notes of, oh, that would make a really great LinkedIn post, or that nugget would be really great for a TikTok video, or I would love to be able to turn that piece into an Instagram reel, or this is something that I would like to share on my Facebook, whatever, so that you can sprinkle that content out over the next few weeks. And that's going to help you to build some momentum with your social media marketing strategy. It's so important to enjoy the moment. You have worked so hard to get yourself to this conference. You've invested money in the ticket, the travel, the accommodations, the food, all of those things. Now it's time to be present in the experience. So, the most important thing that I could say to you is to absorb everything. Push yourself to improve and leave with a clear plan to apply what you have learned. Do not squander this opportunity, which leads me to my final tip. What if you leverage AI as an assistant and an accountability partner? So here's two ideas that I think you could try. You're going to come home with notes, right? Pages and pages and pages of notes. Ideally, pages and pages and pages of notes. What if you took all of those notes and dropped them into ChatGPT and then gave ChatGPT a prompt asking it to summarize all of the notes and identify the key points and takeaways for you. So you can condense all of those pages of notes down into the most valuable nuggets that you can actually use. So that's one prompt idea. Second prompt idea. What if you took all of those notes, put them into ChatGPT, and asked ChatGPT or prompted ChatGPT to help you create social media content for the different platforms? Please create a content post for LinkedIn. Please help me turn this section of my notes into a series of posts that I could do on Threads. Please help me take this thing that I learned and help me draft a script for a reel that I can share on Instagram. So use ChatGPT to help you create some of the content that we were just talking about a couple of minutes ago. So that's a second prompting strategy. And a third prompting strategy that I would like to see you try is taking all of those notes, putting it into ChatGPT, and asking it to help you turn those notes into action items so that you're going to implement everything that you learned and actually get all of that information working in your business. Because otherwise, what good are the notes if you don't do anything with them? So I think that's three really powerful ways that you could leverage AI to help you take everything to the next level. Summarize it, turn it into social media content, and then give you some key action items that you can put into your plan, into your to-do list with deadlines so that you're actually putting the information that you've taken to work. I genuinely hope that you have an absolutely amazing time at VO Atlanta this weekend. I hope that some of these tips help you to get even more out of the conference. There is so much to see, so much to do, so much to learn, so many amazing people. I've been going to the conference for, I don't know, like 10 years or more now, and absolutely love it every single time. And these are some of the things that I do, even as a coach, even as a presenter who's there. These are things that I do to try to get a next level experience every time I attend one of these events. So take this, have an absolutely incredible weekend, and don't forget to find me. Look for the Canadian who's wandering around the Hilton looking like he's lost. I'd absolutely love to meet you, to have an opportunity to say hello, to answer a question for you in the hallway. I'm giving you permission now. I know one of the things that I've talked about before is not bombarding coaches, respecting their space. Take advantage of the sessions, asking questions in the sessions or whatever. You have my permission to approach me in the hallway if you see me. If there's a question that you would like to ask or something that you'd like to work through, please, by all means, find me and let's do that. And I'm looking forward to having an amazing weekend with you at VO Atlanta.